Hello, everybody. So I am here today as a caster for the community tournament, the League. So for anyone who doesn't know, the League is a sort of team-based Temtem competition. Each team has 5 players on it, and they send in 4 players against each other. So once a player is eliminated, or once a player loses a match, they're eliminated and can no longer play. So essentially, it's a best of 7 tournament where each player can only play once. Each player has to lock in their teams before the match, and so you can't counter team. Hello, Chaotico. Chaotico is going to be the ref for this. I think we're still getting set up a little bit, so it'll be a couple minutes before we start. But I wanted to make sure I'm ready to hop into those matches as soon as they start. So it's in the title, but the matches we'll be casting will be the team Soul Enigma versus DK and Friends. DK is Dark Knights. And in the background, I'm just going to work through this Bun Bun radar. Still need team screenshots, so might be a few minutes late. No worries. People on the recording can always just skip through this part and get to the fun. Overall, I think it's a pretty simple tournament. I already went through most of the rules. There's nothing special banned, so it's still common to see meta threats. I guess if anyone would be interested in participating in these in the future, there is a Discord. So you could send me, Loreweaver, anyone really a message on, or you could even ask in the main Discord comp chat, and somebody could send you an invite, I'm sure. The tournament is completely free to enter, and there is a prize pool of Pansun donations from some generous players, and also it is sponsored by Crema this time around. So we are actually, or the winners will actually get Novas. So it's really awesome, and thank you, Crema, for that. Hello, Kip. Yeah, also there's multiple matches going on at the same time right now. So if anyone else pops in live, you can go. I know East underscore 25. He is also streaming another match, and then in like 10 minutes or so, there's going to be yet another match. So lots of very similar time starting times on the matches today. #1 bully hating stream. I've popped into one of the other streams earlier and was just complaining about bully, and I got disagreed with. I guess we just have different point of views, which is all fair and good. I think bully's on the weaker end, but other players think it's very easy to activate, and 25% can be a large difference. I made a post on the main Discord months ago if anyone wanted to scroll back and read that under comp feedback. I'm not gonna bring it up again, hopefully. I don't really want to argue on stream. Yeah, so one of the other matches going on is East Coast Esports 2 versus Bots United. That's the one the East is coaching, or casting. And then the other match that will be going on later today will be DK's Team Naga versus 2 Goolders and 1 Kita. Kind of long team names now that I think about it. Maybe a bit better to have a graphic. I couldn't even fit them both on the side, the full names on the side of my screen. So I just have Soul versus DK, so I apologize for the Enigma and Friends that weren't included on the side, but you're there, I promise. Imagine doing radars, not a digilayer. There's a digilayer for... Yeah, I guess I could ask around and do digilayers. It's just, with radars, I don't have to put any thought, and I can just I can do it like in the back of a stream, like right now, while we're waiting for the match to start. I don't have to put any thought into it. I don't have to dedicate like an hour of my day to have a mediocre chance of getting the Luma. But yes, probably if I don't get a Bun Bun from this radar, maybe I'll try and see if anyone wants to do one. Did you learn? Still waiting on a few teams to be sent in. Hit you up? Yeah, alright. Alright. Strong Anna hurt. Anna hurt first. Yeah, that's another reason why I'm doing this. One, it's the last Tem on my current team that's not Luma, because I actually finished up my Zenareth earlier today. Plus, I still got just a couple full Furt and 6 Furt Luma Anahers to use up. I think I even got a couple more wins. I'm like really close to Legend. Maybe I'll stick around after the stream and throw that a couple extra matches, bonus content for you guys. We'll see. Yeah, the other thing with this tournament is you're trying to coordinate times between 10 different people across like all time zones essentially. So I know Dark Knights is Dark Knights Germany, so most of them have like an opposite time zone of me. I'm not sure where Soul Enigma that I guess I could go through the team members if I can find it. Maybe that would be good. I'm not sure who's all going to be playing today, because only 4 people will actually be playing, though everyone is allowed, the whole full team of 5 is allowed to be in the call. Actually, there's no real easy way to search for who's on the team. Alright, let's see. So DK and Friends is Silmomo, Venom, Statist, Demizius, and Nuss. Quite a few players I've run into on ladder, and even a new player that I'm not familiar with. Oh, did not mean to emote there. And then Soul Enigma is Red Moon, Grunty, B Flattened, Neo X Elite, and Morgana. I know quite a few of them as well. That's what I oh, you already wrote it down. Okay. Yeah. Are you the new player? I'm not sure if you're new. I'm just not as familiar with you, but I'm glad you're stopping in. Hello, welcome. I don't actually run into Silmomo on ladder much either. I know they've been around for a while though. We're also around for last season of the. This is actually the second season of kind of the league tournament. And so a lot of the players also participated in the last round. You're not really new. You like dumb stuff too much to really climb. That's fair. That's fair. Just wait until you see what my team's bringing in this tournament. It'll I'm currently running midi on ladder, so I definitely feel that. Also, the coin flip was already done, and Soul Enigma will get to decide who invites first. Can be a big advantage, it depending on the kind of team that the players are running and their playstyle and such. It's always interesting to see how these teams decide to do things. Because when you send in the first player, you never know what either team is bringing. But the team that loses actually gets to know the one of their opponent's teams because you're only eliminated once you lose. So if somebody wins a match, they could come back again, but they have to use that same team. So if you have somebody in your team that has a good matchup against them, you'll want to try and send them out to face them and get the win if possible. So it's always kind of interesting. Also love running dumb stuff on ladder here. Exactly. I love running dumb stuff on ladder. I haven't done a lot of theme teams lately just because I've really been enjoying the MIDI team and having success with it. I kind of want to optimize it for the time being. But we'll see. I'll bring back theme teams at some point. Hopefully. Still want to make a full Earthbreaker team at some point. We're still kind of waiting. You guys could have East stream pulled up right now, if you don't already, and watch the matches there. I mean, I guess I could tune in there while we're waiting, but I don't feel like I don't really want to double cast. I still kind of steal the thunder, so I'd just kind of redirect you guys over to East stream. If these matches finish up before the other set, though, we will go and raid the channel that's streaming the others, which I believe would be Lore Weavers. I'm pretty sure you still finish up earlier since it started an hour ago. Um, and we're seeing if maybe I will switch up around. Because it sounds like most of the team of Soul Enigma is not responding. We're kind of just giving them a time limit at this point since it's getting to be like 15 minutes late. Possibly be a reschedule. I'm not sure if there's going to be like forfeits for no-shows or what. I know that my team wasn't able to find a time that worked this week for everyone, so we're delaying it a week. Alright, we're gonna go and cast the other match then, because we're just gonna kind of switch things around. Alright. Hopefully we get in fast enough. Nice, we're just starting pick ban. Alright, so I'm gonna have to switch some stuff around stream side. But I want to discuss these teams first. So from Kosagi's side, we see the Shuin, which is typical. A couple faster threats with Gialis, Platamus, Barnshee, even Ventil, and then even slower stuff like Tyrannak and Grumper. So it's very interesting. Kind of a goofy speed tiers. Maybe some slowdown shenanigans with the Grumper, I'm not sure. Rorwick, he's been a big fan of Naga for a while. Moala is an option, Zen Platamus, Sentinel, so he's definitely playing around Hypnotist plenty. But Kosagi's not really afraid with double mental, possibly a resistant Gialis. Just wants to avoid, like, Rorwick just wants to avoid the Zen boost on the opposing Platamus, possibly. Tyrannak into Zalbian here is interesting, because if that's an Intimidator Tyrannak, it will block the attack T, so that even if the Zalbian has wastewater, which it most likely does, it won't get the stab bonus on it. Also, Tyrannak is really good because Rorik's team is highly dependent on traits, with stuff like Moala and Naga, so this is kind of a rough lead. Yes, I did forget to mention that this tournament is open info, so all teams have to post their items and tems ahead of time, so their opponents can see what they're running. And as Kip is saying, this is an E-Drink Zalbian, and Kosagi has an E-Drink Chimerian. So Nutbar Vental is also very interesting. Possibly Arcane Wrap, maybe like Strangle Sacrifice support. So Shaween doesn't feel horribly threatened on this board. It also... The Guardian is blocked, so the Toxic Tick will still happen on the Tyrannak from Wastewater. I'm not sure if that matters, but it might turn a 3 KO into a 2 KO, depending on. Tukma Mask Tyra. Okay, no way a non-stab Wastewater is 2 KOing then. That's very interesting. Normally you see stuff like Bait, Sweatband on Tyrannak, maybe Talisman if it's frightening on a stall team. Machmine's also got both Mentals available for Deluge Synergy. However, Rorik has quite a bit of anti-sleep tech, so I'm not sure how afraid he is of being slept. I'm not sure what item this Turok has Fake Beard, so it does not have Bait, and it can be slept. That is worth noting. There's no Toxics on Kosagi's side remaining, so it can't get a Water Cannon synergy. But a Water move, even uninvested on either of these Temps, will hurt really bad. So we'll see how it goes. I would say, judging by the lead, that Kosagi has the better board. Alright. I'm going to now fix the title of my stream and thing on the side real quick. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Okay. The volume might have cut out there, sorry, but scuff setup. The double into Zao slot is really safe. Yeah. Might be a Sharp Leaf Tyrannak though, so it could even be worth doubling into the Turok slot. Ah. If only though. Okay. So it's a frightening Tyrannak, so we will actually see the Decidor up right now. And Tyrannak does not have Outgrowth off of hold yet. So the Stone Ball did about 40% of Shween's health. I'm not sure if a Beta Burst or a Nagai's Fury would be able to do enough with in a double. Luge doesn't kill and Naga can Hypno Tyra. I feel like that most Tyrannaks are actually slower than Naga though. So it's going to kind of depend on what breakpoint this Tyranax at in its moves. Yeah, so it's got Ember, so there's no way the Schween's dying this turn. Possibly with that chip damage, the Deluge would kill? It's hard to say. Oh, but the Hypno's on the Schween. Okay. So now Turok would love to Rockfall here, but it's going to take a big OX. Maybe with heavy armor would underspeed? Possibly. It's not... Tyranax already one of the slowest Tems in the game. It's in the bottom 4. I'm not sure where... So it only has to scuff a little bit to underspeed even heavy armor Naga. And it's not like Tyranax really needs to outspeed anything. I've seen some Tyranax outspeed Gyarados, so possibly an argument there. I guess this one could have speed because it has the frightening for the heavy armor. Hard to say. Saving the Nagase. Maybe wanting to bring it in later against some of the faster threats. Bring in the Platamus. It's a pretty good Platamus board, and it'll have Toxin Shower off hold now, and it will gladly click that. Ooh, even getting the Zen boost right away. 44 speed as feed, underspeed, heavy armor Naga. Yeah, that's not bad. That's definitely not bad. Okay. So Barnshi's on the field now. And it's threatening both the Platamus and the Moala, depending on how fast it is. So the Platamus is faster than the Barnshi, possibly a bulkier Barnshi. Nito getting the defense drop on the Gialis. A good time split on the Barnshi. So the Barnshi should outspeed the Platamus before it gets the next Toxin Shower off. And Barnshi actually has respectable special defense, so it's not in danger of either of the Tems right now. Gialis can take care of Moala. I wonder what we'll see the Platamus do this turn, though. It's got the defense buffs, so it's not... It can probably even live a Tornado. It can definitely live a Tornado, possibly like a Hypoxia and a Beta Burst, depending on how bulky the Platamus is. Roark doesn't have any great swaps here either. Nagase dies to just any one hit. We could see Turok in for the Moala, but that would be... Okay, both stay in. And Barnshi gets the bait off before Moala can. Transient. We saw a double gash from Gialis, possibly just covering a swap with a low stamina cost. Platamus' priority is down though, and there are no electrics on Roark's side, so it doesn't have synergy Rotten Goo. No problem, Lore Weaver. No problem. I enjoy casting. I hardly ever do it, and the last time fell through, but glad to be able to do it this time. So, this could come down to speed tiers here. If this is a slower Gialis, the Turok could have Turbine and outspeed it before it gets a move off. And if the Platamus is faster than the Gialis, it could also do the same. It depends. Maybe you see a Sharp Stabs plus a Tornado into the Platamus. Hard to say. But no, the Turok goes first, and Gialis goes down. Alright. It actually went before the +2 Barnshi, so I'm curious what this Barnshi clicked. It clicks Time Split. So possibly a 0 speed invest Barnshi. We just see another Toxin Shower from the Platamus. No surprises. It's a very strong move. Turok resists it, and it's just some good chip on Barnshi. Kosagi does not want to bring Tyrannak onto this board. What happened? Turbine outsped Gialis and killed it. Barnshee time split Turok, and Platamus used Toxin Shower. So this Naga in the back is probably being saved for the Vental, because Vental still takes effective damage, or super effective damage, from mental attacks, because it's neutral. And usually Ventals are faster, but we saw it's in the items that it's actually a Nutbar Vental, so it's probably Arcane Wrap. And with Nutbar, it might be able to take 2 Beta Bursts from this Nagase. So it's actually more likely that Zalbian's going to have to take down this Vental. If Zalbian has Electro Punch too, it could one-shot Barnshee. And if it has Wastewater, it can kill Tyrannak. So Zalbian's going to be really important here for Rorwick in the late game. That's what Rorwick can do. Like there's pretty much a free kill on the Schween right now. It's going to depend on how fast the Platamus is versus the Schween. I guess the Turok too. Well, Toxin Shower is down, and there's no Rotten Goose synergy, so it would have to be an aquatic that kills the Schween, and I don't know if I've seen a Schween that would die. I don't think this one would die. Turok also can't do a whole lot to Barnshee here, because it resists both of its stabs. So maybe Turok just finishes off Schween, and we see some chip on the Barnshee slot. Tyra's still strong with Outgrowth. It is, yes. Oh, the Deluge. I wasn't counting turns earlier. I forgot the Deluge was up. So Turok goes to sleep. Platamus uses Rotten Goo, and it does finish off the Schween. Now the problem is Turok is sleeping, and Turok really wanted to get some damage off on this Vental. Because Vental's way weaker on the physical side than it is on the special side. And since it wasn't spiritual, that confirms that it is Arcane Wrap. So both Platamus and Naga really won't be able to do much to it. You see Barnshee come back in. So Zalbian wants to come in, but swapping it in and taking hits is not great. It'd be great to have it in on a death swap, but that would mean having to sack either your Platamus or your Turok. And neither one is going to be great. Ooh, T-Shower to wake up the Turok. I didn't even consider that. That's a great play. That means you couldn't get the Turbine. So we'll probably just see a Stone Ball, just to make sure. Unless possibly the Turok is faster than the Platamus? I'm not sure. Maybe just for the extra damage, because Stone Ball has like 20 more BP. So I did about 40% to Vental, healed a bit from the Nutbar. It's definitely a super defensive Vental. Windburst did not do a whole lot to Platamus. A Tornado wouldn't even kill at this point. Thank you for the raid, East, and welcome everyone. We're looking at this match here. Got a Platamus that was buffed up from Zen, Barnshee that was buffed up with Time Split, a slower Turok. It's a Nutbar, Arcane Wrap, defensive Vental. The Barnshee is also slower and very defensive invested. So this could be anyone's match still. Barnshee being slower than the Platamus Aquatic hurts there. It would have been great to get the OX damage on the Platamus there from the Aquatic Whirlwind. We still get a time split off, so Kosagi should have the speed advantage now. The problem is that there is a Naga in the back, and it does still have at least one turn of Decidora left. And there's still the full health Zalbian. And it's going to be Tyrannak, so it could come down to whether Zalbian has Wastewater or not. But I'm not sure if I've seen a Zalbian that doesn't run Wastewater. Clock's getting a bit low, so the players are going to have to make their decisions a bit faster. We see the Tyrannak come in. Oh. Platamus just barely lives. after that last wind burst. And we know that Platimus with, or no, that because of the -2, the Barnshe should outspeed with another wind burst. And then Tyrannax should be able to finish Turok off with whatever it wants to. But I'm not sure what Turok wants to do here. It could Turbine into Barnshe, and even resisted, it might kill. But I'm not sure how much defense this Barnshe has invested. It could live. There is a chance. Turok probably can't go for Stoneball because of the -2 speed. It would get outsped by Tyrannax. Tyrannax might outspeed it anyways, depending on if it's not 0 speed Tyrannax. It's going to come down to speed tiers here on this turn. Tyrannax really needs to... Yeah, okay. So he goes for the Turbine. Oh, and Barnshe does go down. Ventil is going to have to do a lot of work here in the endgame. But Tyrannax does have Outgrowth up, which could be... Ooh. So he actually leaves the Turok alive, knowing that it was going to OX. That was a really smart play. Because right now it's not doing anything on this board. So Zalbian, this is its first turn on the field. It does not have holds off. So we're not going to see a Cyber Claw into the Ventil or anything, or a Turbine. So we're probably going to see either a Wastewater or an Electro Punch. Either damage on the Tyrannax or the Ventil. The Tyrannax does have Tukma Mask, so it might even not even take half from a Wastewater, which would be crazy good. If this Tyrannax has Meteor Swarm and the Meteor Swarm could finish off Turok and get some chip on Zalbian, that would probably be the best. But I'm not sure if it's running it or if that would even kill. Turok is very bulky. See the Unseen on the Zalbian. Tukma Mask. Wait, was it not Tukma Mask? Did I miss it? Maybe I'm getting the teams mixed up. No, it was the opposing Tyrannax. My bad. My bad. So Kosagi's actually does not, and that could be the difference because now Wastewater kills. Oh, I'm trolling. Okay. So Ventil is +2 speed. If it outspeeds Zalbian here. Where's bait? I'm not sure. Maybe it got disabled. No, it couldn't got disabled. That's actually very strange. I could not tell you, me. This is the exact lock code as well. Possibly a bug then. Trying to get some more damage on the Tyrannax. Zalbian outspeeding the Ventil could be really important there. Turok can now take out Tyrannax with... Oh, it's going to use Rockfall though. That does kill though. Does Turok OX? It does. So now, can the bulky Ventil take a Beta Burst from this Nagais? Because Ventil could time split the Nagais to guarantee that it's faster than Turok next turn and finish it off. But if it dies, well, it dies, and that's that's kind of the end of the road for Kosagi. This is a crazy close match. The Side Surge, will it kill? It does! Oh, the Ventil is just not bulky enough. Denigrate kills both still. It had the Naga had Side Surge up though. Oh, GG's. Rorick coming out with the first win. To make sure 0 speed time split. Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy. And it almost paid off for him. That was a super close match, but unfortunately, the speed tiers actually lost him the game in the end. And it was not quite bulky enough to live. I gotta change the win rates. So it is 1-0 in favor of DK. Watching +4 speed. Barn Sheepy slower than Platypus 8 doubled. That was pretty crazy. I'm not even sure what the Barn Sheep base speed is. Let's see. Barn Sheep base speed is 196. So if it was +4 and doubled, it would be 400 speed. So Platypus would need, like, I don't feel like doing math right now. But you can, like, their opponents, I'm not going to reveal too much because the opponents can now analyze it themselves, knowing that they're going to have to go against that Platypus sometime else in their run here. Possibly next match. And knowing the speed of it could be important in determining who wins or not. And it does look like the Tyra bait was a bug, possibly changing how the match would have gone. Because there would have been one toxic tick less on that Tyrannac, which would have been about 12% health when it got hit by the rockfall, possibly surviving. But we are going to get into the next match. It is going to be Tyram versus Shulzy. And Shulzy will invite. There we go. Curious to see what kind of teams we're going to see here. Possibly some ladder teams, otherwise I know some people come up with some crazy stuff when they're playing in these community tournaments, where the stakes are high, but sometimes people try a bit harder on ladder or in the TemCS tournaments, so we see some goofy stuff here as well. So this does look like Shulzy's typical team. Kind of got H-Slap possibilities with Gialis, Tuvine paired with Tutu for a tag team. Hiram, he's got the Gazuma Moments combo, crazy strong. As well as just some general solid Tems all around, Volfi, Tarak, Tolkien. So with the Moments Gazuma lead, it's such a strong lead, but Shulzy has multiple crystals to deal with it. However, he won't want to lead Tutu with it because he can hit Tutu super effective on both the Gazuma and the Moments. Thank you, Kip, for posting the teams. So those are just the pictures of the teams. If anyone wants to see the items. Do you see the Mashuk band out? A little surprising, considering there's multiple melees to resist Mashuk's melee side and multiple wins to hit it super effective. But if it's a parrier Mashuk, that could take a lot of hits because of the defense boost, and Shulzy's entire team minus Ness, maybe Vola. Nessa for sure, maybe Vola hits on the physical side. Also, since we saw a Toxic Band, it's possible that Shulzy wants to lead with the Tyrannac, or even the Nessa. So that's worth noting. If the Tyrannac gets picked, it kind of can cancel out the fast charge from Moments as well as Refurbish. No, Refurbish wouldn't get. But it would cancel out the fast charge, and slow Moments can be controlled with like high toe. It's actually about the only control option I see, but it's still something. Alright, so the 2-2 is picked up. It's a very strong lead in general. Has so much synergy with Shulzy's entire team. The digital makes sense. With 4 melees on the team, there's actually 4 digi weaknesses. But doesn't look like he's going to go with the Gazuma pairing. Still worried about all those crystals on the team. They're just both of them. Even the Nessla can eat electric hits with electric synthesizer if he's running that. Shulzy loves to disable fast charge with Tyra. You sound like you're speaking from experience, Kip. 2-2 Vine, a lead I'm very familiar with and have run on many occasions. versus the Moment's Tataru lead. There's not a whole lot of synergies here, but Tataru just in general is pretty bulky, can dish out some strong hits, and Moments was probably just wanted to be picked up just to deal with all the melees. Banning out the Gialis, just one less crystal to deal with. Plus it's pretty fast. Like now, if Tyrum can deal with the Tuvine, Minotaur looks a lot better this match, so that's worth noting. Gonna run Nox Bomb Gazuma for him. Didn't Arctech do that or something? The damage is still kind of sad, even with invests. It's unfortunate. Saw the Volphy band out. It's good against like Sizemunch, Nestla, even Goldsy, so it makes sense. Can even hit on Tuvine's special side, where it's a lot weaker than its physical side. So we see both melees picked up here, kind of surprising. So this is going to be Schulze's entire goal this game is to be killing the Moments. Once the Moments is down, he can kind of roam free. But because the Moments is so slow, it almost doesn't... He doesn't even have to be too scared of it. The Gazuma, I guess I didn't catch if it was banned or if it was just left alone, but the Gazuma was not picked up, so this Moments is just going to be staying the speed it's at the whole game. I would not be surprised at all to see the Moments swapped out here. And either a show-off on the Tutsu, well, it probably doesn't have show-off because it's got H-slap. Probably just an H-slap CPG into either one of the slots here. Vulcan's a really good swap-in, kind of eats everything that this team wants to do. But the double-in goes on the Tataru, predicting that swap. Tataru's going to take a ton of damage from this. Yeah, over half. Extra energy slam, just doing a bit of chip to Tuvine. Tuvine's defensive stat is very high. I think it's the highest in the game. Paired with solid HP, so that does just over 20%. Barely a 5-hit KO. However, Tolkien is on the field and threatening out Tuvine, and Tutsu can't do a whole lot to threaten out Tolkien either. Tutsu's still giving tag team value though, so we could see something like Tuvine swapping out for Sizemunch, save the tag team value, resist the Fiery Soul, and get the wreck off hold, which is what we're gonna see. Hello, Bossy, welcome. Good day to you as well. See a Tataru swap out as well for the Minotaur. Unfortunately, because the Tuvine was faster than Tataru, Minotaur does not get the Rusher speed boost. And Minotaur does not like this board. It does eat the high toe well, though. Mr. Bossy is Vossy. No. Sometimes my pronunciations sound very similar. Just like, apparently when I say oh well, it sounds like oh whoa. Yeah, so Tyrum's in a really rough spot here. He could swap in Turok or Moments in to eat the wreck, but he doesn't want any damage taken on Moments, so that would feel bad. He's gonna stay in on both. The Sizemunch is faster than both the Tolkien and the Minotaur. Minotaur survives though. Seems like it must be a bulkier Minotaur then. I'm curious if we'll see Minotaur use the Black Hole on Sizemunch to finish it off, or if it'll do an electric move on the Tutsu. Black Hole on the Sizemunch. It did get an Earthbound boost, but I don't think the Sizemunch is going to be able to take it. Yeah, nope. So that's a really good kill for Tyrum, kind of bringing it back. Also, Minotaur now gets a speed boost because something has to swap in here. It is Nestla swapping in. So Tolkien no longer likes this board. We could see a Tolkien sack just for a double-in on the 2-2 when tag team is not up. This is the only time when 2-2 will not have tag team available, because Nesla is not a wind or a melee type. But he does want to keep Tolkien around, probably for the 2-Vine. It's just kind of rough because there's 2 electrics. So I'm curious what we'll see he actually goes for here. 2-2 does swap. Probably a good play. See a Paizo onto the Golzy. It eats that really well with the resist. Still takes over a quarter of its health though, plus the burn from the taser. Water Blade barely finishing off Minotaur. But it did get its hit off before it died though, so that's very important. And Tolkien with the Fire Tornado, because the Nesla did not target it, punishing. And the Golzy goes down. Like that in every stream whenever you stream together. Understandable. For a long time there was a player called Magnetosis, and people got me and him mixed up. Haven't seen them around in a while though. Kinda good that Minnow died. It's unfortunate because that was one of the bigger 2-2 counters that he had. But being able to have a fresh swap in here to deal with Nesla is very important. It is worth noting though that 2-2 has Haito off hold, so he can put Turok to sleep with. See the Moments come in. Moments does not have its holds off, so if it has a Resin Trap, which it most likely does, it cannot hit Nesla super effective at this time. So we're probably just going to see a Microwaves into the 2-2 slot, possibly a Tataru sack. But if this Moments has anything other than Energy Drink, it's just going to take a nap. And it's not going to want to eat the Haito. It's possible that the +2 Haito, plus a Feathergat, and whatever Nesla's got the next turn, could just finish off the Moments before it even gets to attack. I have a friend called Magnitude too. Oh no. Time to go back to my old name, I guess. Magnetronics. Yeah, I'd still respond to that. It's close enough. So we do see the Tolkien saved and the Tataru coming in. It lives and takes the Water Blade, and Moments does eat the Haito for 1/3 of its health. That's... And Feathergatling has higher BP. Oh, it's the Nut Bar Moments. Okay. So it is possible that we do see Moments eat a double here. Victor with a K. It's not with a K, it's with a 0. Because I made that name when I was a lot younger and thought it was cool. Victory for me. Tataru dies to pretty much anything that's not a Water Blade. I think it even dies to an Electric Storm if this Nestle's running it. I would say this would be a great turn to use it if it does have it. At this point, I think Tyram's just kind of trying to run the Nesla out of stamina. Because if that Nesla runs out of stamina, then Tolkien can really ruin the board for at least one turn. Tataru actually swaps out. I'm not sure why he's saving the Tataru, but maybe just thinking that he's going to ignore it this turn and getting holds off. Wait, it's... Oh, interesting! A Feathergatling. Predicting... I would never have guessed a Feathergat to finish off the Tataru. Oh, okay, so the Nesla's running Tesla Prison over Electric Storm. So that's what was going on. But now the Moments gets the Resin Trap off on Nesla, and it's trapped and it does so much damage. Victory for me? You thought it was Victory? That was just your name? Oh, no. No, it was just some goofy way to say victory for me. So Nesla kind of has to just Aquatic the Turok slot, or he has to choose to double in the Moments to kill it, or to take the damage on Turok. But the Tataru swap, but another Haito. I gotta say here, like, the nut bar over the energy drink really hurts. Also, I keep forgetting that it's actually open info and I can see the items. Open info is something that we've only recently started doing with community tournaments. Oh, but the Moments gets refurbished, so it could swap out now. But we could just see a double, like a Water Blade plus whatever we want into the Moment slot. However, that would mean Tolkien has to come in. So now it's going to be kind of a crucial turn. A Feather Gatling would kill the Moments at this health. From the Tutsu. So does he swap? He does. If he had stayed in and with the Nesla to finish off the Tolkien, that could have been game-changing. Now he gets a burn as well. Tutsu's really not doing anything on this board. He rests. Too bad it's not a Contemplation Tutsu. That could have turned the game around if it had the speed boost. But Tutsu does have a +2 Haito that can go right for this Turok. And Tuvine is on the board that Tolkien wants to be. And that Tolkien is also on, so... we could actually just see a Fiery Soul plus basically like maybe even like a Feather Gatling into the Tuvine slot just to finish off the Nesla if it swaps in and to kill the Tuvine. And once Tuvine goes down, Tolkien has nothing it needs to do anymore. Oh, but it lives to eat a hit for Tutsu. Okay. Maybe Tutsu even show-offs here just for the damage. No, okay. That does so much damage. Yeah, the Tutsu's fast in the Turok, puts it to sleep. What does the Tuvine do here, though? A Nox Bomb on the probably on the Tolkien, just for the chip damage. Yeah, that's smart. But now that the Tuvine's down, Iron doesn't need his Tolkien anymore. So we could just see a double in on the... Well, this is very interesting. Tutsu's running low on stamina. He has to kill... He has the potential... Shulzy has the potential to kill both birds here. But we'll probably OX on Tutsu. And might lose Nesla in the process. Depending on if the Tolkien is faster with the Fiery Soul. Because Nesla has to target the Tolkien. Oh, nope, it goes for the... Yeah, very interesting, I'm not sure. Okay. That was probably the best play, actually. If this Moment has Binary Flood and lives the double in, it can get a double kill. And Nesla can live any attack that Tolkien has. Like, it can live Fire Tornado. It's actually got... Nesla has really nice special defense. Even base. So Moments has to live this double in. But Tolkien can get a burn on the Tutsu to reduce its damage. So I don't think... Oh, but he takes down the Tolkien. He just sleeps it? Oh, you're right. I keep forgetting about Haito. Oh no, the value. This see, this is what not getting the fast charge on Moments does. It just makes it too slow. And now a Feather Gatling plus an Aquatic kills. Yeah. GG's. Shulzy really played well here. Maximizing the Haito value. Even with fast charge it would be slower, I suppose. It could get synergy microwaves off before at the very least. That show off early on the Tutsu changed the game entirely. It got so much value from the damage boost with the show off that game. However, since it's running both Humiliating Slap and Show Off, we actually know it's full moveset now, so it's not running Nox Bomb. So next match, the opponents can know that and possibly play Waters and Natures into it without worrying as much. Plus, they know other information such as the Nestle's faster than the Tulkin. So how the opponents use the information that they gained from the previous match is always really important. But it's also worth noting that a DK actually also has a player that their opponents have knowledge on. So I'd say like overall for the series that both teams are pretty even. I mean, like the score's tied, but it's we're just kind of waiting on who's going to be playing in the next round. So next match is Deliara versus Schulze. So Schulze will be playing again. And it looks like Deliara is also running a Tutsu, so it'll be 2-2v 2-2. This should be fun. And they're already in match. Okay. So we actually see triple Earth here on Deliara's side. A bit unfortunate into the quad melee and like a Nesla. Those Earths are not going to be giving a whole lot of value this game, I don't think. But we'll see. I would not be surprised to see either a Tolkien or a Nesla ban for Schulze. Probably Tolkien, just to free up the crystals. He only used Humiliating Slap once that last game, but it did help significantly in taking down that Tataru. Keep the Tolkien. So the Tolkien has Talisman, which is very interesting. Possibly expecting to see some Cycroxes. It's a very popular Tem, very strong in the meta right now. But we do not see it on anywhere on Schulze's team. No, I mean possibly an extinction on Tyrannac, but this doesn't look like a Doom Tyrannac to me. Also considering that Schulze's Tyrannac does not have Talisman itself, that would make Extinction Doom itself, so. But we did see the Tolkien banned out. Its type is very strong against Schulze's team, so it's not surprising. See the move flank picked up. Schulze has no mentals, so it's not like it'll go down quick, and Mooflank has respectable physical defense. It's his special defense that's a bit lower, so possibly we'll see Volarend or Nesla to counter it a bit. But nope, we see the good old reliable Tuvine 2-2 lead. Runs out to Nesla, which Schulze wanted to do. Turok and Volfi are kind of free for one turn since 2-2 doesn't have a turn 1 melee move. We saw all of its moves last match. But Turok cannot touch Tutsu, plus Tutsu will be faster and be able to high toe it turn 2. So I'm not quite sure. Ooh, are we gonna see Deliara's 2-2, 2-2v 2-2? We are. Okay. So I'm curious. There's only 2 tag team synergies on Deliara's team. So it is possible that this is a Contemplation Tutsu. I don't know. But it could be. Probably not. There's also no crystals, so this one, Deliara's 2-2 most likely is not running Humiliating Slap. So it could very well have Nox Bomb, which could threaten out the Tyrannac later on, or even deal damage to the Nesla. See the Volfi banned out. A little surprising considering the 4 melees. But I guess if Deliara decided to ban another, then there'd only be 2 melees. And Volfi is still kind of a pain. So I'd gift out speeds. Hook kick on Gialis. So if it's got enough invest, I suppose. Turok is picked up. Turok's not going to do a whole lot this game, I don't think. It can hit Gialis, and it walls Tuvine. But it gets walled by Tutsu, the Volarend if it gets picked up. Kind of loses to Size Munch as well. It was worth noting as well that Adeliara has Platamus, Acronox, and Volphy on his team, and Volerand actually walls all three of those. Pretty badly. So, but in the end, Deliara only brought the Platamus, so Volerand does not get as much value as it potentially could. I get it. Turok. It also walls Turok. So actually, half of Deliara's team gets walled by Volerand. Kind of crazy. Volerand's defensive type chart is really good, even with only a couple resists. So you see the H slap onto the 2-Vine. From Shulzy's Tutsu into Deliara's Tutsu. Just see a base jump on 2-Vine, not doing too much. Gotta work through the tag team and Tutsu's crazy defense. Oh, we see the Wrenching Massage, very interesting. So it is a turn 1 melee move, but it still only does about 40% to the 2-Vine. And meanwhile, Tutsu lost almost all of its HP. Possibly see a Bestial Charge come out from the move flank, just to deal some damage to both of these Tems, and probably to put 2-Vine in range to die to one more attack from just about anything. Deliara really wants to free up the Nesla, so the Nesla can deal with Tutsu and Volerand a bit better. So he'll want to break through 2-Vine, that's probably why we saw the double turn 1, and then Gialis as well. So the Turbine onto the Tutsu. It does take it down. No tag team bonus for the damage reduction. We did see the Bestial Charge and an H slap, just to put that move flank in range to die to some physical attacks later on. Also to prevent that unnoticed speed boost. The Isolate doesn't really matter. Move flank doesn't have any synergy moves. So I would not be surprised if we see the Nesla here. It depends on how confident Deliara is in being able to finish off the 2-Vine at 22%. I did not catch how much base jump did on turn 1. Possibly they're like trying to talk between each other in their Discord and figure out if it did do enough. Because if it does, a base jump onto 2-Vine and then a T-Strike into the 2-2 slot could be really good here. But you also gotta wonder, like, the 2-2 swapping out for Gialis or Tyrannak would be really bad. Probably into Gialis, just so we can get the holds up on its moves, because Gialis' strongest moves are on one hold. Hook kick, crystal bite, sharp stabs. And Deliara doesn't really have anything to threaten Gialis on this board. This does make Shulzy lose the tag team bonus and confirm the kill on the 2-Vine if it was close, which it was. It may have lived if he stayed in on the 2-Vine. Or on the 2-2, just because of tag team. We see the T-Strike, even with both resists in the back. Tyrannak eats it. Still takes 15%, but the nut bar heals it back up to 90. Intimidator, so move flank does not get the unnoticed boost. And now the Gialis comes in. But Gialis does not have any turn 1 crystal moves besides Glass Blade, and it's not often you see a Glass Blade Gialis. I believe we saw a Double Gash last game. Unless I'm getting my games mixed up, which could very well be. Double Gash is the typical turn 1 move. Getting some damage on the Gialis. That's a lot, actually. Maybe a speedier Gialis? Does Helldanger finish it off? If it does, that is exactly what Deliara was looking for. It does. So now Nesla is not really threatened by either of the crystals now. But the Tyrannak has Sharp Leaf, not a move you always see. And Nesla takes almost half from that, probably putting it in range to die from Volerand's Toxic move. Not sure if this is aerobic or anaerobic Vola yet. We did not see that last game. Fake Beard is an item that could work for both. If it's aerobic, using it doesn't get the defense drop because it would be using a toxic move to hit the Nesla, and its wind moves that raise its speed by 1 and drop its special defense by 2 stages. But if it's anaerobic, then it actually gets a special defense buff if it uses a toxic move. But it would also be likely slower than Nesla then, because that's usually a bulkier build. Got some spoilers in the chat. Kip says it is the special version, so we're probably going to be seeing a Virulent Gust onto the Nesla here. Moofling's kind of running out of steam stamina-wise. Might see it swap out. But the problem here is, like I said earlier, Valoran counters Turok and Platamus. It just completely walls it. So, see the Nesla swap. Moofling stays in to deal some really solid damage into Valoran. That could be crucial into Deliara in actually ending this game. But we actually saw the wind burst into the Mooflank. Which means that Nesla could have stayed in and gotten a Thunderstrike off on the Valoran. And it absolutely would have finished it off after that special defense drop and the base jump. The Nesla would have gone down to the Tyrannax, so it would have been Platamus, Turok versus Tutu, which would also not be a great board here. At least currently, Deliara still has Nesla to play around, possibly to deal with Tutu. It could come down to speed tiers. If the Nesla outspeeds the Tutu, it could finish it off. But we actually see the Nesla come in now. Very interesting choice. I'm not quite sure what the plan is here. See, HKS though, that's... So he must have been predicting a swap back into the Platamus. I mean, he's probably just covering it with a Sharp Leaf from Tyrannac. He was hoping that his double-in would be faster than the Valoran V-Gust, but most aerobic Volarans are highly speed invested, and that Valoran was speed run +1 speed from the Wind Burst the turn before. Nesla does go down to the Sharp Leaf. And this is looking a bit rough for Deliara. If it's a bulky Platamus, it can live the Feathergat and then get some damage on Tutu, but Turok has a lot of work to do here because any double-in onto this Platamus will likely kill it. Unless it's extremely bulky Platamus and it lives both a Feather Gatling and a Sharp Leaf. That kind of has to be what happens here. But Tutu can always, or could, high-toe the Turok just to make sure. But we do see the Feather Gatling. That does a lot of damage to the Platamus. Probably too much. Because Sharp Leaf will finish it off at this health. And it will not get another hit off. We gotta go through the War Drum Tactical Strike. Flaming Meteorite. I guess that does do more damage than Sharp Leaf, so just to cover, just in case it did live with a bit more health and was a bulkier Platamus, he was just making sure. So that was a good play. But Outgrowth is up on Tyrannac. Turbine does take out Tutu. So if Outgrowth doesn't kill Turok and Tyrannac OXs, this could still be interesting. But we might also see a Sharp Leaf from the Tyrannac just to save stamina, which we do. And Turok is now the one low on stamina. And one Feather Gatling does exactly 30% to the Tyrannac. And barely OXs. The Sharp Leaf will finish off the Turok. So GG's, Scholze is now on a roll with 2 wins in a row. That was a pretty interesting endgame there. Both players actually started over predicting each other a little bit and almost kind of like throwing the lead back and forth. But I think Deliara was just a bit further behind and was playing catch up and just didn't quite have enough momentum or speed to beat out Schulze. But it was a very close game. Once again, down to like a third of a health bar on Tyrannak. And that puts two Goolders, one Kita at 2 wins. But that also means that Dark Knights get to pick the side once again, so possibly giving them another advantage. Just waiting to see who will be participating in the next match. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess that Schulze is just going to keep going on the Goulder team. The opponents already have information on his team, so it would almost be a disadvantage to send him out again. But we actually see Rorwick versus Buffduck. So Rorwick is coming back after round 1. And then Buffduck, we have not seen the team yet. But it is posted now. We see some fun stuff. It looks like a slower, bulkier team. Thank you, Kip. So some things of note. This Grunder has Mom's Lunch. So Rorwick has to play around stamina. Make sure he's not using a move that could OX him after Mom's Lunch. First Aid Kit Vola. Could get some last second healing. Refreshing Diabolo on the Mix. So if Mix gets into range, it's kind of like a free heal at some point. Rorwick does have quite a bit of spread damage though. Nagai's Fury, Outgrowth, Rockfall, Toxin Shower, Hellfire, possibly Sandstorm. So I don't think Mix is going to be real great for Buffduck here. We'll see. And then also Buffduck's Nidrasil also has Energy Drink. So it's pretty likely that it has Narco. And also means that Rorwick cannot freely pick Moala because the Nidrasil will stay awake. And actually, if Nidrasil is Tri-Apothecary, which it usually is, it could actually side Spore its ally to wake it up after the Hypnotist, give it healing, and he can still attack with whatever he wants. So that's actually a really great counter to Rorwick's Hypnotist Moala here. But if we see the Nidrasil first picked, Rorwick can actually just choose something else entirely. So that's the big advantage that Rorwick has now of picking blue side. We see Mixed Mastion. So while there is a lot of spread moves for Rorwick, Mix is another Tem that counters Hypnotist here. So Buffduck just trying to play around that a little bit. Tyrannak, I forget. We've seen so many Tyrannaks today. I forget if this was Intimidator or Frightening, but if it's Intimidator, then Puppet Master from Mix will not even activate, which could just be the end of Mix. Mix is usually built very squishy because its whole bulk is around not being able to be hit in the first place. At least until next patch when it gets a bulk buff. That'll be interesting to see. So we see the Drakash band. Probably a good band. Drakash was one of the best things Rorwick had into the Nidrasil. And also into the Garunder and even the Scaravolt. So with that band out, Buffduck has a lot of pretty good options into Rorwick's team. There's another Volerend, which does still counter Platymus. But it's not picked yet. Probably waiting to see if Rorwick picks Double Mental, which would be strong against Yowler, and Volerend would be the better pick. But he goes one of each. So it's going to be kind of... Could go either way here. We'll see what Buff Duck goes with. He knows his team better than I do. Gallus is a really good choice here. It beats Garunder, it can deal solid damage. Like, it's really good against Mix. You don't know what Buff's doing with turn 1. It's a very good question. I mean, the self-seed spikes is always an option. But that's if he remembers if it's a frightening Tyrannac or not. Because I certainly forgot. But with the confirmation of Marbles and Sweatband, we know that it's Intimidator. So yeah, Mix probably just wants to leave here. Yowler and Garunder swap in. Garunder swap in's very likely, because Garunder walls Platymus and also threatens Tyrannac offensively. Also, it'll get Mom's Lunch off. This is probably the Garunder here, yeah. Because the Massion was not getting attacked this turn. And if it was getting hit with a Rotten Goo from Platymus. And it resists that. So that's... I'm a little surprised to see Mix stayed in. Got a Crystal Spikes on Platymus for a decent chunk of health. But Mix actually lives the double in. So it is now in Puppet Master. So if it just leaves and comes back in when Tyrannac's Intimidator turns are up, it will be pretty hard to hit. And actually, I didn't even notice, but Buff Duck did a really great job of banning out Rorwick's spread Tems. So the only spread moves he's got left are Toxin Shower on Platymus and possibly Meteor Swarm, but Outgrowth on Tyrannac. So if Buff Duck can kill Tyrannac, Mix can probably just ruin the rest of this game. But that also means that Rorwick has to play, like, protect the Tyrannac game the whole time. He's also got to be kind of careful of how he plays this Platymus. Platymus is his best time to deal with Mastion. And he just got a decent chunk of its health eliminated. So we do see the Owler come in now. The Gallus come in place of the Tyra, and then a Toxin Shower. Yeah, that's a really safe play. I wonder if Buff Duck has Clay Ball on the Garunder, uses it on the Gallus slot. No, he just goes for the defib. So now Garunder has to worry about a Crystal Bite coming from Gallus. I'm not sure if that kills it though. Most Garunders are very bulky. They're a bit weaker on the defense side. But it's not... I think max HP Garunder might even live a Crystal Bite. It is a bit chipped though, so it could be very close. Depends on the invest in this Garunder. See the Garunder swap out. No surprises there. Now the Tyrannac's off the field, you can actually just redirect the Crystal Bite onto the Yowler. Not that Yowler wants to take that either. That's like 35%. And then just a Rotten Goo canceling out its items, so we will not be seeing a building blocks on that Yowler anytime soon. We saw a Savage Suplex in the Gallus. It's a decent chunk of damage, but it's not enough to put it in range of dying to a Crystal Spikes. And now Mix has to watch out, because if Yowler dies to one more hit, then Mix can be targeted with the other. I would not be surprised if the Platymus is faster than the Gallus, uses Aquatic on the Yowler to finish it off, and the Gallus just could even double gash to finish off the Mix at this health. So Mix does swap out. It is afraid. We see Nidrasil swap in. Toxin Shower. I'm pretty sure Mix could have lived that, so I'm a bit surprised to see it. Galler kind of just dies without accomplishing a whole lot. Very unfortunate for Buff Duck. But Heroic's been playing very well this game. Being able to eliminate Yowlers was one of the big things, because he's just trying to get rid of the swaps that Buff Duck has available. And Yowler was one of the big ones. So he actually, Buff Duck willingly brings out the Mastion against the Platymus, which is very surprising. He could be baiting a Rotten Goo and then swapping to either Grunder or Mix, redirecting it, or just eating it. Buff Duck does not have any waters for Synergy Lava Wave, so Gialis is not immediately threatened. If he... So we just see the doubling into the Mastion, Crystal Bite plus a Rotten Goo, I'm sure. Predicting the Crystal Bite was to cover a swap into Grunder. Gialis does go down. It's actually Embers on the Mastion. Very interesting. So if anything's slower than that Mastion, that's not named Tyrannac. It can get burned and have a damage reduction. The Marbles is disabled. I don't think that matters at all, but it's it's nice to have an extra 5 HP on whatever swaps in right now. Which will be the Zalbian. Zalbian probably has Wastewater to finish off the Mastion, and Platymus is free to swap. We could see a Toxin Shower, but I honestly think with how well Mastion took that Rotten Goo, I think it lives the Toxin Shower. It might even be able to get a Water Blade off on the Zalbian if it's a Solidifier Mastion. I'm not sure what trade it is though. Also, we know that this Zalbian is energy drink, so we could see Moala swap in. And Zalbian maybe gets a heat up off. Like, Nidrasil also has energy drink, but Nidrasil's not doing a whole lot on this board. If it's not Seabite Zal, Grunder can cook. That is true. That is definitely true. We do see the Platymus swap from Moala. So double energy drink. Only one getting put to sleep is Mastion, but Mastion swaps for the Grunder. Likely to eat the Toxic Hit. And getting a Mom's Lunch just to make both Tems pay dearly with their stamina bars before clicking a move. Oh, and a Bark Shield. Now that was like 60-70% of Nidrasil's stamina bar gone, but getting that defensive value, especially on Grunder, who now may not even have a counter if the Zalbian doesn't have Crystal Bite, is huge. Heroic really needs to break through one of these two Tems, and it's looking kind of difficult for him to be able to do that. His only special attacker left is Platymus, which can't hit either of these two Tems. I guess it can kind of hit Nidrasil with Toxic hits, but it won't do a whole lot. We see the Mix come in now that neither of these are threatened. A Nito to get that little defense drop. What does the Zalbian got? He does have the Crystal Bite! This won't kill, but it'll deal a ton of damage. And allows him to resist, or to take neutral damage from the electric moves that Grunder's packing. We saw the defib into the Moala though. So I'm pretty curious how this turn's gonna go. Like, Mix has Sea Spikes up, so it can kill Moala. And likely outspeed it. Based on how much damage that Moala took from that defib, it's likely a very high HP invest Moala, so it's probably not invested much in speed. But then again, it did outspeed the Zalbian, so I'm not sure. Like, Buffduck's team is getting really low on HP now. But Zalbian needs space. Like, it needs to be able to get some stamina and to get the hold off of Seabite again to finish off Garunder. But it also has to worry about Mastion in the back, eating that Seabite, and then retaliating with something if it's faster. This could come down to speed tiers. Also, Mix is available right now, so we could actually just see the... Nope, we see the transient. Okay. We see the crystal spikes. So either that's a very slow Mix or a very fast Mawala. I'm actually not quite sure which. But that's really good information for both players to learn. The Garunder's faster than the Zalbian, though. Unless Zalbian rests. Oh, he uses Electro Punch. It's resisted. But it was enough to finish off the Garunder. So I guess he clicked Electro Punch to save stamina on the Zalbian, so he can click one more move next turn. He does have to worry now, though. He is weak to a Crystal Spikes from Mix. And he'll die in one hit. But Tyrannax still has at least one turn of Intimidator up. So if it comes in, it can threaten out Mix. So that is what we see here. We do see the Nidrasil as well, though. So we're now playing a game of chicken. Does the Mix stay in and die to the Tyrannax? But then what does Zalbian do? Does Zalbian swap out? Does Zalbian just turbine the Nidrasil? Basically, does the Zalbian swap or does the Mix swap, essentially? If Tyrannax has Meteor Swarm here also, that gives a ton of value. I think this one had Sharp Leaf, though. And most ones with Sharp Leaf do not have Meteor Swarm. So we will see. We see both of them swap, so both players making safe plays. However, with double safe plays, I think Buffduck has the advantage because Nidrasil can do that. Toxic Ink the Tyrannax. Okay, so this is Tukma Mask on the Tyrannax. So it does get a little bit of value here because it will not die to another Toxic Ink from Mastion, or from Nidrasil. However, I think Intimidator is up now. Could be wrong, but I think it is. And Mix is not on the board. Plat just wins. Possibly. It doesn't have any great ways to deal with Nidrasil. Ooh, Cage. That seems really risky, in my opinion. See the Rotten Goo onto Mastion. I guess the Cage was expecting a Toxin Shower and the Tyrannax swap. Just to hopefully kill his own Tyrannax. But that did not happen. Tyrannax does get a Meteorite off on Nidrasil. Nidrasil is faster than Tyrannax, so it can get off the Toxic Ink and finish it off. Platamus... not sure what Platamus is going to do. Probably just a Rotten Goo onto Nidrasil, try and get some damage on it. That does not do enough damage to Platamus to threaten it. It needed to KO it in one more hit, I believe. I think this is going to come down to if the Mix is faster than the Platamus, but I don't think it is. Because Mix can kill Zalbian right now if the Mix is faster. And Platamus cannot. I guess Platamus can just Toxin Shower and then it's fine. But Zalbian's faster than the Mix. Changes type. Gets a Turbine off on the Nidrasil. And I think that closes out the game. If we just see a Toxin Shower. And now Platamus is safe to kill Mix next turn. So I'm assuming that that was a much bulkier mix, that it did survive those hits early on. And unfortunately, that was actually the demise because it was not able to outspeed what it needed to in the end. It is so difficult to find the right balance of speed, bulk, and damage on Thames. Both players played very well, and Warwick came out victorious. So GG's, that now evens out to 2-2 now. Very close series. But now Team Goolders gets to pick the side, possibly giving them an advantage. Because Warwick did have an advantage in the lead last game because he was able to pick blue side. So I wonder if that's going to change things up this game. Of course, leads don't always decide games, but getting an advantage from turn 1 can be very important, potentially. Especially on a team that has Thames that really take advantage of that lead, something like Moala. Moala is the type of Tem where it has it gets its most use when it's on lead, because if you swap it in, you have to have something on your side that can resist sleep in some way, or else you're just putting yourself to sleep for one turn. It can be decent for pivoting. I know Funky How tried that for a while, just having Hypnotist Moala as a pivot tool, but that does not always work. We'll just murder a few Bun Buns while we wait for the players to choose who they're sending in next. As far as who's remaining on each side, we see both players that we haven't seen yet. Actually, Feynman's inviting, so. So it's Feynman versus Loach. Loach? I don't know how to say it, my bad. Does winner not have to stay? No, so it's just that once you lose, you're eliminated, is all. So you can send in whoever you want that isn't eliminated. It is very interesting, yeah. Most people do send in the people who have won previously because they've already been scouted by the opponents. But sometimes the strategy is to, like, if other people try and counter the person that you sent in last time, you could send in somebody that potentially counters them. There's a whole lot of thought to who you send in, and yet in the end, it probably doesn't matter, and it's all mind games anyways. Alright, so we see Feynman with his... I love this team. He's been playing it on ladder for most of the patch, but I've seen him play some other teams more recently. It's got a Grumper on it. I don't want to spoil too much, but you see triple electric. There's a Waspine here. A whole bunch of bulkier Tems. Even like quite a few supports. Like Amphitheater, Waspine, Obi are all kind of supports. Now Loach's side. We see the 2-2 kind of H-slap core again. We actually see a Wind Coish, which is awesome. I was kind of expecting to see way more Wind Coishes after they changed Ice Cube synergy to Wind, but haven't seen it like even once. This is the first time I've seen it since that change. We do have the Mimit there as well, so we could see some double Ice Cube shenanigans from the start. When Koish slaps any slow team hard, yeah, that makes sense. Unfortunately, there are quite a few electrics. One of them got banned out, but we'll see. I'm curious to see how this game's gonna play out. I want to say on matchup that Feynman has the advantage, but I don't know. There are 2 Earths. One of the crystals was banned out, so we will see. So we just see the double Wind Coish. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, Yadoro probably dies to the double Debris Typhoon, right? I'm assuming it does. You almost gotta ban the Grumper or the Grandpa here, just so you have the better offensive lead. Because, right, but I mean, Adoro has 2 defensive swaps. It has, well, now it only has 1, but it has Grandpa it can swap into. So you kind of have to take a guess. Do you think that the Adoro is going to swap and you just double the Obi with Ice Cubes? Or do you think the Adoro is going to stay in and you double it with Debris Typhoon? It'd be really nice to get rid of both of these Tems because it frees up the melees a bit more to get rid of the Mentals and the Digi. We see Turok banned out. Kind of interesting. Maybe wanting to free up Waspian a bit more? No, but no, Waspian's got so many weaknesses, you can't really do that. See Gario on both sides too, I didn't even acknowledge that. Futsu is going to get a lot of value this game. Has tag team with almost everything. Turn 1 here could determine the game. It might even just be safe to double in on the Obi anyways. That's probably what you have to do, because otherwise you die to a T-Prison. There's no way these Mimics get outsped, and they're not going to be afraid of dying to a single V-Gust. You don't think V-Gust 2-shot? It definitely 2 shots. So I'm assuming Ice Cube onto Obi, and then next turn, Ice Cube Debris Typhoon onto Adoro. Adoro gets chunked a whole bunch, and then next turn, Tutu comes in, and then game kind of in a good spot. I guess the Platimus could come in for the Obi to eat the Ice Cubes, but it's weak to Wind then. But then if it has Rotten Goo, Obi could come back in and have Rotten Goo, Synergy Rotten Goo to finish off the Mimic. Or to finish off whichever one is targeted. But no, the Obi is faster and... Oh. Okay, I'm surprised. It's a... Oh my goodness. Never in my life have I seen an Adoro take that much on turn 1 with no buffs. That is insane. That speed drop on the Mimic could be really crucial though. Because now, even with Synergy Ice Cubes, I think that... Obi still outspeeds so before the freeze goes off. Gario doesn't do anything here. At this point, you probably just Ice Cubes with the real Koish, and then Debris Typhoon the slot just in case you see a Platimus swap, like so. Because if that... It's not going to outspeed anyways with the Ice Cubes, so you just cover the swap. Here it is. Yeah. Oh no, it's the Ice Cubes! Darn, if that was a Debris Typhoon prediction, that would have been crazy good. Oh, but the Cold Geyser doesn't kill! I know Ice Cubes outspeed... The Ice Cubes would not outspeed the Obi, though. It would outspeed the Gario, so... I was assuming that the Obi would Tesla Prison the Mimic to finish it off. So that it wouldn't get frozen. Or take extra damage from the Mimic. And then if... Yeah. I can't explain my thought process fast enough. But yeah, so Feynman still has the Obi alive. Having that electric Digi in the back is really good against everything on the team except Gario. And now Platimus is around, and if it's faster than the Mimic here, it can get a really nice Toxin Shower off, finish off this Mimic, deal some really good damage to this Koish, and protect itself from the Debris Typhoon. However, Mashuk kind of walls it. So my guess is we're just going to see like a Soil Steam from the Gario into one of the No, okay. Very interesting. I guess we're just going to see the Rotten Goo, not wanting to play the speed game, possibly a slower Platymus. Double Boomerang? Oh, you know what? That's a good point. I completely forgot Boomerang is a move that Quaish gets. I just don't see Wind Quaish often enough. Swapped in the Obi, but still opts to Aquatic Whirlwind instead. But that speed drop did come into play from the Tesla Prison. Because if that Mimic did not have it, I guarantee it would have outsped the Platymus there with Boomerang. I don't guarantee it, but I'm almost certain. The Platymus is really low now, but the Wind Quaish is kind of vulnerable. Depending on the invests on both the Quaish and the Mimit, it could die. If the Quaish is squishier than the Mimit, it could die to one Tesla Prison after that Toxic Tick from earlier from the Adoro. Mashuk doesn't really do a whole lot here. I guess it probably does Perfect Jabs Obi. Set it up for something later. It's also worth noting that Obi does have Bush Up. So if we see the Quaish swap for Gario, this Gario still has Autonomy up for evasion. So that is what we see. So it eats the Tesla Prison if that's what comes its way. And then this Platymus should still be faster and be able to get a Toxin Shower off to survive the turn. Oh, but we see a Rotten Goo. And a Binary! Ooh, great plays. This actually, if this... Oh, I think I should check. Does Gario have Soils? This Gario does have Gravel Bag. And it is now locked. But unfortunately for Fiveman, it's still a water type and can hit Obi on its water weak side. But now Mashuk is in range to die to the Grandpa with just about any wind move. I don't think Wind Burst would actually kill, but Hypoxia should. And then Obi could just burn the Gario with Plasma Beam if it has it, just to survive an extra turn. But the problem is that Grandpa gets walled by 2-2 and even the Water Quaish. And Gario gets walled by the Water Quaish really bad and can't do much against 2-2 either. But the Gario swaps out. Ooh, very interesting. I guess Tag Team just trying to get value here. Oh, Bush works too, I suppose. Oh, yeah, you called it, Rikito. It was a turbo on the Mashuk. Giving that 2-2 the speed, it probably needs to outspeed. The Obi and possibly the Grandpa with a Haito. If can do turbo, do turbo. It's fair. Oh, so our Wind Quaish here just turned into a Water Quaish. So 2-2 definitely is going to outspeed. And just Haito the Obi now. And the Quaish is also free to Ice Cubes. Ooh, but a reset. And possibly a Hypno from the Grandpa? I'm not sure. That's less than half. What does the Grandpa click here? If it clicks Turbo, maybe there's a chance? No one clicks... Okay. Hurricane... It could still click Turbo. But it really wanted to click Turbo there, so it would be able to Hypno the 2-2 and Tesla the Quaish next turn. Or this turn, but... That's... Now he has to Turbo anyways? And the Obi still has to kill the Quaish. And I guess 2-2 doesn't have any way to kill Obi this turn because Haito's down. I don't think that H-Slap does 25% to an Obi. 28%, but it's possible. He did get +2 speed? Yeah, right. He needs to use that speed to give even more speed. But if this Grandpa isn't running Turbo, I'm not sure. I guess you could Hypno the Koish, but you're playing speeds at that point, and I'm not sure. Shook outsped already. That's a good point. It could be the Gario sack. Gario's not doing a whole lot left this game. Ooh, double swap. Interesting. Both Garios coming in. You see a Hypoxia. Ooh. So Feynman gets that prediction right. Because there was no point in Hypoxing that win Koish. But now Tutu has Haito up again. So Feynman's got to be really careful here. If this Grandpa has Hypno, I think now's the turn it has to use it. On the Tutu. But with that low stamina, it might OX if it does so. And then Feynman has to hope his Gario is faster to win the freeze games against the opposing Gario. And then also the Wind Koish is actually a free swap in here. Alright, so the Garios are speed tied, so... Actually... Oh no. That's so bad for Feynman. Loesch is gonna outspeed this turn now because he's got Speed Arrow. And he'll be able to freeze Feynman's Gario. And the Grandpa's OX, so it can't finish off the Gario even though it's low. This is why you always invest at least 1 point in speed in your Tems, folks. I don't know, maybe these Tems already have 1 point and they just both tied at 1. It's hard to say. Do you invest 1 point in speed? I usually like to hit some sort of breakpoint. I think with Gario I hit like base speed Scaravolt or something. Oh, but he doesn't play the speed tie, he just swaps in Koish. But Obi's on this board now. Oh, to get the Diabolo proc. That's actually huge. Not running Gravel Bag on Gario, getting value. I think at that point it may have... I don't know. So, Koish did like 40-some% to the Obi with Ice Cubes. So Obi can get one more attack off. Or it can Bush. Bush is... I'm not sure if Bush was the play here. He doesn't have to worry about his special defense. And I would just double the Obi slot anyways. Like, Ice Cubes breaks the evasion. And Haito just does enough damage to put it in range to die to the Ice Cubes. Maybe? Oh, but Synergy Earthbreaker! Oh no! The move nobody ever sees. Getting the insanely awesome synergy that we have in this game. And finishing off the Koish. That is not a play I would have ever expected. That was game winning right there. That was amazing. I don't mean to pick favorites, but that win, I think that Feynman deserves this one after that. Oh, crazy. That was hilarious. I love that. Binary Flood, just getting some chip on Tutsu. Tutsu's got a lot of work to do if it's going to pull through anything, so it's just getting to show off. If you pose... Oh, that Rockfall actually takes out Obi. Picking Earthbreaker over Flood would never cross your mind. I actually take Water Jet over Earthbreaker myself. Just for a stamina efficient water move, because Cold Geyser sucks. unfortunately, Tutu does not have any more tag team Tems. Gario's the only one that's got left. Hurricane's gonna finish off Gario, deal some more chip to Tutu. I think that Haito would have been better on the Grandpa, but I think this game is all but won at this point for Feynman. I mean, Grandpa's still got stamina issues, but... Oh no, another Hypoxia won't even kill the Tutu at this health. If somehow an H-slap plus like a Haito on this Grandpa kills it, then we could actually see Feynman lose. If it's a very squishy Grandpa. Hurricane getting some chip. Oh, it's Nox Bomb. It's not H-slap. Okay. Nox Bomb. Yeah. Unfortunately, the... Well, that was a fantastic game. Well played to both players. Loesch looked like he had the early game just completely under control with the double Koish. And then he had great swap-ins, had that turbo on the Mashuk to get his Tutu faster than everything with Haitos. But then Feynman comes back with the reset, which was insane. The refreshing Diabolo on the Obi swap, getting Bush off hold, and the Synergy Earthbreaker. Well played by both players. Honestly, the hidden info Earthbreaker just... Oh, amazing. So, the Goolders team is now ahead 3-2. If they can win one more match, then they win this series. Warwick is the only player remaining for team at Dark Knight's Naga. And Feynman is coming back in for another round. Best of luck to both players. We've seen both of the teams before. I'll hop in right now. Alright. Warwick picking blue side again. That helped him significantly in the last match. He does have he's got triple electric weakness, and Feynman has 3 electrics. Something worth noting. We see another Grumper ban. Grumper's been banned both times. Nobody likes Grumper. I do. I like Grumper. It's very strong offensively. It's just this defensive type chart is very, very bad. But it's super tanky, so it can actually live probably a Stoneball Beta Burst opener from like Naga Turok and come back to one-shot Naga. So that's probably why we've seen it banned right now. I'm not sure if Feynman's would be able to survive or kill, but we now see Zalbian into Gario, turn 1. I'm not sure how Warwick deals with this Gario. There are a couple melees and a couple waters to resist its attacks, but Zalbian does not like this lead. Zalmawala, that would make sense, considering Grumper is also the Tem holding energy drink on Feynman's team, so it would be able to stay awake. But yeah, the Adora is available, and I'm not sure if that's a Zen Platimus or not, but that could have been another option to lead as well. So like the wall is not super enticing now, but it would give space for the Gario. Plus, I think it was a bulkier Moala when we saw, so maybe a double in turn 1 could get the Adoro in range to die even. Just trade Moala and you punch Adoro. Yeah, that's definitely an option. Platymus is interesting here. Platymus cannot touch Adoro at all, but it is one of the better attempts to wall Gario. Maybe Rorik's playing that he can live the Beta Burst plus the Cold Geyser and get an E-Punch off on Adoro turn 1. And then, like, break Gario's evasion with Platymus or something. Actually, now that Naga wasn't banned, Naga might be a good swap in turn 1. But then the Adoro is still left unchecked. And that's what Feynman was banning for with the Gyalis, I'm sure. You see Obi banned out, just another electric, but also Obi is really annoying as a support. Offering stamina with Fake Beard, resets for statuses if this Zabian has like heat up or something. And Bush as well, just for fast evasion. The very last electric on Feynman's team has been picked up. Kind of want to see some of this Waspine in action, but I'm not sure if this is the game for it. I guess it kind of depends on if the Drakash is picked up or not. Because Robo kind of has to pick Drakash if he doesn't want to deal with the Waspine. And yet Mawala is one of his better attempts to deal with Gario, so it's a hard choice. So we do get to see the Waspine. So Naga is weak to everything on Feynman's team except the Gario. I would not be surprised to see it swap in for the Zabian on this turn, just because this is some of the only value it's going to get. And then maybe Platymus just breaks the evasion. We could see Mawala swap in for Platymus, just to give... Alright, and then like an E-Punch onto Adoro. And then Adoro would be maybe in range to die to a Turbine. I guess that's kind of the other option. So that is what we see, okay. Oh, but he predicts that and gets the Beta Burst on the Mawala. Electro Punch does deal over half. But there is a bit of a nut bar, but I'm pretty sure that's still in range to die to Turbine. Problem is that Mawala cannot do anything against Gario this turn. And now Hypnotist is burned, so he can't use it any time later. Is it worth sacking the Zabian to try and kill the Adoro? Adoro... He walls Platymus. And Inner Spirit's kind of threatening to Turok. But I don't think it's too scared. We could even just see a swap into Waspine for Feynman here. This is a really nice Waspine board. Especially since I'm assuming that the Zabian is going to Turbine the Adoro here. Might even see Amphitheater for that reason. But Amphitheater gets a lot of value. Being able to hit Platymus, Turok, and Naga is all super effective. Even though you bring in like the fastest Tem in the game against a Decidor and Naga may not be the smartest thing. It's still usually pretty bulky. Amphitheaters are, so Naga can't deal with it effectively. Did you see the Adoro swap and the Waspine come in? Okay. Not surprising. But Mawala does get a Nito off. Possibly predicting the swap. And then a Reactive Vial and a Crystal Bite. Ooh. That's a lot of damage onto Waspine there. And Zabian survives the Cold Geyser. That could be huge. Rorik has speed advantage right now. If Zalbian can finish off Waspine with something, and if Moala has like Ito on Gario, that would be huge. But Adoro is in the back, and Waspine has Deluge up, so it could finish off either Zalbian or Moala with that. And at the same time, if Zalbian turbines the Gario slot, predicting an Adoro swap in, then it would kill it, and no sleep would happen, but it would still die. Every turn is just a big prediction on both sides. See a turbine onto the Waspine. Oh, it does not kill. The Moala does high toe. What does Waspine use here? Plasma? Binary! Oh, that takes out both. Huge value for Feynman. And the Royal Jelly just for a little bit of extra healing on the Gario. Now that the only melee is gone, however, there's 2 waters left. I'm surprised we're seeing Tarak here. Maybe just ignoring the Waspine for a turn because it'll die to rock. Ooh, the Diabolo. I was gonna say it dies to Rockfall after the double into Gario here, but after the Diabolo, it might not even die to Rockfall. Yeah, it probably does. Like 320 special invest to take out 100 HP Munkos. That's nuts. But I guess it doesn't really need speeds. You just max HP and then significant special attack, and ta-da! See Amphitheater come in, probably to eat the Aqua Bullet, possibly coming its way. It looks like Warwick predicts that. Nope, he just uses Rotten Goo. It's to try and deal more damage to the Gario, but it does not bring it down. Synergy Earthbreaker again onto the Platamus. Does not take it down. But Amphitheater is on the field and probably fast enough to just Plague Platamus and finish it off. I don't think Gario's in range to die to a Rockfall. And even if it was, I'm not sure if that would be enough to save this game. Tarak can deal with Adoro and Plat, and even Waspine to an extent. But I mean, Platamus gets hits off, Amphitheater gets hits off, just because they're faster. The guy's coming in to get the Plague. Yeah, Decidor and Nagas are super bulky, it's not, they can eat that just fine. I'm not sure if the Turbine was needed there, but I guess since you have Decidor on the field now, using your faster move when it's available is fine. And Nagario goes down. So he still has Platamus that he can either bring in on a Death Swap for an Aquatic on something slower like Waspine, or a Death Swap, or just like a sack right now. He could swap out the Nagais for Platamus, get a Stone Ball off on the Amphitheater, and then with next turn he could probably double the Amphitheater and kill it. Kinda has to ignore Adoro though, and Adoro would have Inner Spirit up by then, so it might not even be possible. He's running low on the clock, he's got 0 seconds left. It might just be the spectator glitch though, and Feynman used up a bit of his reserve. And the Denerate goes faster, because Nagais doesn't have its... Oh no, it did have its holds off, it was just using Beta Burst. Special attack drop hurts it. Possibly resting. Yeah, he actually did run out of time there, and got the double rest, which kind of just seals the fate. I'm not sure if there was any way to pull it back, but if there was, unfortunately the timer stole it away from him. So that is going to be GG's, and 2 Goolders, 1 Gira is going to win this series. I gotta say, I really loved seeing the variety in teams in this series. We saw a lot of fun stuff, super close matches in almost all of them, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed too. I think I'll post this on my YouTube afterwards, just so that it's a bit more permanent if anyone wants to watch it another time. Plus, who doesn't like tourney content, right? Yes, GG's to both sides. That, that's all I got though. I debated on playing some comp matches, but I think I'll do that off stream. Don't want to clog up this one. It was the everything was for the tournament, the league. Don't want to mix stuff up. So, thank you all for stopping by. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.